Professional Sergeant at Arms, would you please escort the Commander-in-Chief to his chair of honor? Chaplain, would you please lead us in our opening prayer?
Let us bow our heads. Oh, Heavenly Father, we stand before you this afternoon because we believe you are our God and we are your people, and you are the creator and sustainer of life. We acknowledge that every good and perfect gift comes from above, and all that we have comes from your divine and beneficent hand. We thank you for this food and for those who prepared it, and pray for your blessings upon us as we partake. May we always be mindful of your loving kindness and tender mercies. Amen.
Captain of the Color Guard, James Collins, present arms. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order, arms.
At this time, I'm going to turn the program over to past National Commander-in-Chief Paul Sperra, who will be our MC for the afternoon. Thank you.
Good afternoon. To all of you comrades, sisters, and friends, welcome to the dinner honoring the leader of our organization, our Commander-in-Chief. And before we begin, we have some guests who are here today who have other places that they need to be. So we're going to take a few moments of your time to introduce them and to bring them up to say a few words and make some presentations. Sergeant at Arms, the Chairman of the Board of Selectmen for the town of Plymouth, Ken Tavares.
Good afternoon. Commander, distinguished head table guests, and fellow veterans. I say thank you to you, to the veterans for your service, and for picking Plymouth to host the National Commander. Welcome to Plymouth. Thank you.
Appointed by the governor as the Secretary of Veterans Affairs for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. He is a very knowledgeable and very dynamic young man. And at this time, I would like the Sergeant at Arms to please escort to this station the Secretary of Veterans Affairs for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Francisco Urena.
Thank you so very much. What a great honor to be here, and to the representatives and elected officials of Plymouth, thank you so very much for those great remarks. On behalf of Governor Baker and Lieutenant Governor Polito and our reporting Secretary Sutters, it gives me great pleasure to welcome each and every one of you all to this great event. And for those of you all that are not in Massachusetts, welcome to our great Commonwealth. And as you know, it is not by chance that our great state, it is the best state in the country when it comes to providing veteran services and benefits to our Commonwealth, and we'll continue to do that. I have a citation here from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and I'd like to present this to John Stroud, Department of Foreign Wars, National Commander 2014-2015, for your tireless service to our nation's veterans and their families, and for your service in the United States Air Force. We salute you, defending freedom, defenders. Thank you very much.
The National President of the Ladies Auxiliary, Ann Pantelikas.
First of all, I would like to say thank you to Paul for those wonderful comments when he made introducing me earlier. And it is true, we've been coming to Massachusetts for a long, long time. My mother was a past council member for Massachusetts and Connecticut, so I used to come with her when she made some visits to Massachusetts. And I want to thank you for all you do for our veterans, and I really want to thank you for this dinner, because it really is a special event to honor our National Commander-in-Chief, John Stroud. And John, I know I'm so proud to be part of the Dream Team. Thank you.
This individual has been our state commander since June, and he has done a fine job. He has made some very tough decisions. He has made some difficult changes, and we're not done yet. And it is a pleasure for me to present to you the state commander, Bob Graser.
I will tell you, Chief, I want to welcome you to Massachusetts, but I also want to welcome you to America's hometown. This is where it all began. We have a little stone over here that right now is covered with snow. That was Plymouth Rock at one time. Chief, I have a little bit of a little presentation. Would the sergeant please bring the presentation up here? We have a little gift here from the Department of Massachusetts for you, and I hope you enjoy it. I know you're not going to be able to get this home, so we'll make sure it gets to you, but I'll help you take it out of the box, though. Ready? Yep. What we have here is a hand-made, crafted model of the Mayflower. And it says on there Mayflower, so you'll never forget. You won't think it's one of those.
Not the USS Nevada.
And you won't think it's one of those sand schooners that you have in Nevada.
That's,
you know. But
let's get some pictures of it down here.
this is from the Department of Massachusetts, Chief.
Thank you, Bob, very, very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
That, my comrades, sisters, and friends, brings us to the reason we're here. Rather than do that, having been where he is today, and Richard understands what I'm going to say, it is a long and arduous journey. You begin at the post, never knowing what your future is going to be. You go to the district, you go to the department, maybe even get to be a national council member, but then the day comes when you become the junior vice commander in chief, and you begin to plan what is going to occur during your year. And then at senior vice commander in chief, you start to put it all together. You go into Kansas City, you have battles with the bean counters. You try to get your ideas put into motion. And then that moment arrives when you are finally elected and you're standing at the podium with your hand raised and you're commander-in-chief. And then you're off and running. John has been off and running from the time that he joined the VFW. He has been on this journey of leadership through the post, the district, the department, and he has brought that level of leadership to the national level of the VFW. He has represented us wherever he has gone with intelligence and dignity. He has been a true leader. We are indeed fortunate to have him as our commander-in-chief. I am indeed fortunate to count him as a friend. So at this time, allow me to bring to this microphone, to the Department of Massachusetts and all of its guests, the leader of our great organization, the National Commander-in-Chief from the great state of Nevada, John Stroud.
Thank you, Paul, for that very kind introduction. That's much better than getting a bio read, isn't it? That's awesome. It is incredible to be here in America's hometown. You know, my little town of Hawthorne, Nevada has a nickname too. It's America's patriotic home. So we ought to be cousins somehow. To the national president of Our Ladies Auxiliary, my dear friend Ann Pantelikas, Johnny's Angel #1. What a treat to be here with you. I'm so glad you and Stan could be here. National Council Member George Murray. Thank you for being here, and thank you for your part and what you did setting this up. Also, our National Council Member from New Hampshire, Paul Lloyd. Paul, always good to see you. Thanks for coming. Past Commander-in-Chief Paul Spera, thank you again so much for your friendship, your leadership, continuing in the department, and what you do in reaching out in the national organization. Please share with Cliff and Lee, Mary and mine's sincere wishes for their speedy recoveries. Past Commander-in-Chief Richard Neuer, you and Teresa, it's always such a treat to be together with you. Thank you so much for your friendship. Rich was the Commander-in-Chief presiding when I was elected Junior Vice Commander-in-Chief. So I'll always be a special place in my heart for that event, and I'll never forget it. Thank you. Our National Sergeant at Arms, Brian O'Brien. It only takes 2 airmen to take care of business. We got it. We got it. It's all good.
One to tee up the ball.
To my First Lady, Mary, I'm so glad you were able to come with me to this. What an honor. She has to leave Nevada to get to see me. Is Janet Masciotra here? She's the Eastern States Conference Ladies Auxiliary Scholarship Chairman. Didn't know if she was here or not. Our National Historian Ruth Houston from Connecticut. Thanks for being here. Commander Bob Graser, part of the Dream Team. Department President Cynthia Spencer, also known as Johnny's Angel number 23. That's alphabetically by department. Thank you so much for your gracious gift for our special project, Operation Changing Lives. Past commanders or the commander of New Hampshire, Mark McCabe, and your delegation. Thank you so much for being here. My state commander, Dave Souza, and your delegation. Thanks for being here.
You got shorts on?
Shorts yesterday, David? Really? I walked into the hotel here last night. He's wearing shorts. And members of the Connecticut delegation, thank you so much for being here. This is really a special event. To the best of my knowledge, there is only 2 states that do something like this for the Commander-in-Chief, or 2 departments. One is the District of Columbia, and one is the state of Massachusetts. So I thank you so very much for this honor. This is really special. And what a great turnout, too. Thank you so much. Now, I know I sound like I talk funny to y'all.
Oh, here it comes. Here it comes.
But I want you to know I'm really trying, really trying. Went to a really nice restaurant last night, and I want you to know I had one of the best bowls of chowder I've ever had. Show of hands, how many in the room are members of the VFW Action Corps? It's about half. Ladies Auxiliary members, do you know you're eligible to join the Action Corps? Okay. Let me tell you what the Action Corps means. You can go to the website, vfw.org, click on VFW in DC. There's a tab to sign up for the Action Corps. You need to put in your zip code and an email address. That means you will get the Action Corps newsletter every week on your email, which tells you what's going on in Washington, D.C. that week. And also, if there's a hot button item, something we need to get the message out, we'll issue an action call to alert, an action alert. And with the touch of 3 buttons, an automatic message will go to your 2 senators and your congressman. And let me tell you how the Action Corps has been working the last couple of years. What the VFW Action Corps made happen. We got the Veterans First Act passed. We got an Ironclad Stolen Valor Act passed. We defeated the Distinguished Warfare Medal. That was the award that was going to go to the drone pilots. It was ranked higher than the Bronze Star and the Purple Heart. We got that defeated through our Action Corps. We got a 1-year advanced appropriation for the VA budget, so that if Congress shuts down, the VA does not. We got the Veterans Choice Act passed. And 3 weeks ago, the President signed into law the Clay Hunt Suicide Prevention Act for Veterans Act. We did that. So if you didn't raise your hand earlier, be a part of it. Join up. It's important. It's how we do some of the important things we do. I want to talk about 6 little words that are important to me, and they're very powerful. It's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do. I just, last fall, got to visit with the brand new Secretary of Veterans Affairs, Bob McDonald. First of all, let me tell you a little bit about Bob McDonald. He's the right man for the job. He's a West Point graduate. He's one of us. He did 5 years in the Army. Then he went to work for a little outfit, you may have heard of it, called Procter & Gamble. He retired in 2012 as their CEO. He doesn't need the money. He didn't ask for this job. But during his Senate confirmation hearing, he was asked by one of the senators interviewing him, "Why should you be the Secretary of Veterans Affairs?" He said, "If not me, who?" He's the right man for the job. He's got military experience. He's got corporate knowledge. He's got budget experience, which is something we sorely need in Washington. He's got leadership management experience. But most of all, he's got courage. Can you imagine how much courage it took to last summer stand up and accept what was then the worst job in America? I told him when I met with him last September, I said, "Mr. Secretary, the VFW's got your back. And we wish you every success, because your success means good things are happening for veterans." Backing the right people, leading our Veterans Affairs is the right thing to do. One of the things that I got to do, that you only get to do once during your years in the chairs, is we got invited to the presidential inauguration 2 years ago. That in itself is an honor. Now let me tell you what was most impressive for me. That weekend prior, your VFW hosted a reception for 28 Medal of Honor recipients. Now if you want a good dose of humility, be in a room with 28 of those folks, am I right? Honoring our heroes is the right thing to do. I was in the Oval Office on Tuesday, had a good visit with the President. He was very gracious. We sat down chair to chair by the fireplace, just talking to each other like old friends sitting on the front porch. He listened to what I had to say. I listened to what he had to say. We were both respectful of each other. He asked me what he could do for me, and I said, "Sir, manage to get Congress to do what they were elected to do and pass the damn budget and end sequestration." He said, "You're not preaching to the choir, you're preaching to the preacher." Now, I'm not sure what that meant. But unless God has a challenge coin, I now have the challenge coin that trumps all challenge coins. Taking our concerns to the Oval Office is the right thing to do. Then we had a real good testimony on Wednesday, and I told him the way it was. We had a real good question and answer session. I haven't seen one of those last 2 hours in a long, long time. We told them what our issues were, and we gave them some solutions on how to fix some of them. Hopefully they listen. I've said early on when I came into office last July that the days of the VFW playing patty cake in Washington are over. Holding our legislators' feet to the fire is the right thing to do. Last year, as a part of JPAC, Joint POWMIA Accounting Command, I went to Vietnam. I'm part of an excavation of a crash site of an F-105 from March of 1966. You should have seen the jubilation in the crew when they found a 2-inch piece of zipper from that pilot's G-suit. They knew they were in the right spot. Those people are dedicated to that mission, and some of them are in their 20s. They weren't even born during the Vietnam era. But they know they have a very, very noble mission. A full accounting of our missing is the right thing to do. I visited many high-level military officials. Very recently, this past week, I visited with Admiral Franken, who's the interim director of the new Joint POW-MIA Accounting Agency, and I got a briefing on the future of the new agency, which combined JPAC and DPMO. And he promised improvement, and he promised to keep us advised. And by the way, if anybody who was at the legislative reception, the 2-star admiral that was in the room, that was Admiral Franken. He cared enough about the VFW to come to our reception and see what we were a little more about. I pledged him the support of the VFW, of his agency, because we are the only VSO that is totally engaged with that mission, and we're the only VSO that sends its leaders to Vietnam on the excavation sites to actually get our fingers in the dirt looking for our missing. He appreciated that. Supporting that mission is definitely the right thing to do. When I was Junior Vice Commander-in-Chief, had a early trip to Europe, went into Brussels, got a briefing at NATO headquarters, then on down into Germany, visit a whole bunch of military installations, generals, colonels, privates, airmen, sailors, admirals. And then culminated the journey at Landstuhl Medical Center at Ramstein Air Base. For those of you who do not know, that's where our wounded from the battlefield are immediately medevac to until they could be stabilized enough until they're sent to Walter Reed for usually a very, very long recuperation. I visited a young Marine who only 2 days prior had lost both his legs from an IED. I said, "Son, are you doing okay?" He said, "Yes, sir." I said, "Are you getting the care you need?" He said, "I'm getting the best care there is." I said, "Is there anything I can do for you?" Now this is going to blow you away. I said, "Is there anything I can do for you?" He said, "Can you help me get back? I want to get back into fight." I got a briefing from a battlefield surgeon while on that trip that the numbers are down. The number of casualties are down. That's a good thing. That tells me that we're providing the finest medical care in the world to our troops, and they deserve nothing less. That's the right thing to do. I was briefed that battlefield medicine has advanced to such a point that if a wounded troop gets medical attention within the first 5 minutes of their injury, they've got a 97% survival rate. That's incredible. But now let's put this into perspective. The last 13 years of war in Iraq and Afghanistan, we've got 6,000 KIA. Let's look back at Vietnam. After 10 years of war, there's a piece of black granite in Washington, D.C. with 58,000 names on it. So we've definitely got better at keeping our troops alive. But now think about this. We now have tens of thousands of heroes coming home on stretchers instead of in boxes. And they're going to need a lifetime of intensive and critical medical care and compensation. And the VFW is going to make damn sure they get it because it's the right thing to do. Also, as Commander-in-Chief, beginning last Veterans Day, got an opportunity to do some real special things with our National President. We laid a wreath at the Tomb of the Unknowns right after the Vice President did that morning. That afternoon we laid a wreath at the Vietnam Memorial Wall. And then on Pearl Harbor Day we had the opportunity to go aboard the USS Arizona, and we laid the National VFW wreath there. Honoring our fallen is the right thing to do. And Ann, thanks for sharing that with me. That's about all I have for today. Again, I want to thank you for having Mary and I here. And it's so good to see so many friends and make so many new ones. Thank you for all you do. You could have been anywhere this weekend, but you chose to be here. That tells me you care. So God bless you and your families. God bless every soldier, sailor, airman, Marine, Coast Guardsman, National Guardsmen, and reservists who are guarding the gates of freedom as we sit here and enjoy this weekend. May God continue to bless the VFW, its auxiliaries of the United States of America. Thank you so very much.